Are you really listening or just waiting to talk? I talk a lot in my relationship, okay? But listening, and I mean really listening, that's not as easy for me. Which is why I spent an entire week working on my active listening skills so that I can see if my relationship will actually improve if I learn to improve my communication and improve my listening skills. My name is Anya, and welcome to week 6 of the Soft Life Experiment, where for an entire year I am choosing to live by my values and not my to-do list to prove that yes, I can have it all as a black woman, as a mom, as all the things in between, and that I don't have to choose and I can have everything that I want. So, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 6. And this is all about listening in relationships, specifically active listening, because that's where it gets a little tricky. So, if you have had an issue with active listening, or if your partner has repeatedly told you that they just don't feel heard, they don't feel seen in a relationship, then this video is definitely for you. So, let's get into it. So, if you're watching today, I'm pretty sure that talking is not your issue. Listening is. And specifically, learning how to listen in a way that makes your partner feel seen and feels heard is what you're struggling with. I get it, so was I. So, first, let me break down the 3 ways that I was failing, and I mean failing, at listening to my partner. And then I'm going to share what I'm doing differently now so that you can learn from my mistakes. By the way, number 3 is my favorite, okay? And once I recognized this pattern, our conversations became so much easier. So you're going to want to stay till the end. Now, obstacle number 1 to active listening is being a natural fixer. Okay, women, we have this desire to fix everything, to change and to support and to help, and it is beautiful, okay? But when it comes to being in a relationship and having a conversation with someone and trying to actively listen, we unfortunately let this little trait get in the way. And you know what I'm talking about. You will instantly offer unsolicited advice to your partner, no matter what the situation is. I don't even care if you're an expert in it. It could be about lawn mowing or fixing the car. And you have no idea what you're talking about, but you will give some unsolicited advice because you are hardwired and programmed to give advice. It's what we do. We nurture, we love, we want to help, but yeah, support doesn't always look like giving advice. Sometimes it looks like taking a seat back. And this is what I had to learn. We want to fix the situation. We want to be of assistance. We want to help our man. And so we jump into trying to fix it, trying to fix whatever it is they're telling us. But it's not always needed. This sounds like, why don't you do this? Or have you tried this? Or you should, this is my favorite because I'm guilty of this one, you should do X, Y, and Z, and that'll solve everything. Sound familiar? The problem with this approach from us is that it makes our men feel dismissed. It makes him feel like he's incapable of coming up with an answer by himself, like he's incapable of solving his own problems. And we already know for a man that's an issue. That is a huge ego hit. He is going to shut down because you will automatically taking the words out of his mouth. When really he's just looking for a listening ear. He's just looking to vent and let off some frustration because you're his lady and he wants to talk to you. You're the person that he comes home to. But when we're jumping down his throat with 1,000,001 different ideas, he never gets that opportunity. And so he instinctively shuts down. He's thinking, well, what's the point? Like, what's the point of me even talking to her because she's just going to tell me what to do? And that's like the opposite of what we're trying to do and what we want. That's the opposite effect of what we want to create. So here's how you overcome it. Ask first, do you want my input? Or do you simply just want to be heard? Is this a conversation in which you want me to listen and just listen? Or do you really want my advice? Let me know. Ask first. This will clear up a lot of confusion later on. Allow him to tell you up front so that you don't give unsolicited advice and then become the bad guy. Because that's really frustrating. You're just trying to help and then you become the bad guy. But anyway, I digress. Here's an example from my own week. So Cameron has a really hard time expressing his issues about work with me. And it frustrates me. And so he actually has learned and refuses to talk to me about his problems because he feels like I'm going to give him unsolicited advice. that I'm going to automatically jump down his throat. I'm going to give him an answer when he really is just looking for support. And in my mind, when I'm talking to my girlfriends, I'm giving you the story, I'm giving you the tea, I'm giving you the details because I want you to tell me what to do. Obviously, if I'm having this problem, I want to have some clarity. And so I want solutions. Men just aren't wired that way, or at least my man isn't. And I'm pretty sure it's similar across the board. And so when I started this week, I had to be really, really intentional about biting my tongue, as hard as that was. Because I told you I like to talk a lot. I already told you I like to talk a lot, okay? Because I wanted to give him the space to feel like he can share openly, that he can share his thoughts with me, and that I don't always have to have the answer, even though I do. I don't always have to have the answer. I don't always have to tell him. And I learned that he changed up his approach to talking with me when I decided to give him more space, when I stopped trying to give him advice. So I've learned that he really, really likes it when I validate him first. And then I ask him, okay, do you want my advice? Do you need my help? That makes him feel good. Like I'm asking, I'm asking for his opinion first, okay? An example is like, babe, that sounds really, really frustrating. Pause. I'll give him a few minutes to see if he has anything else to say, because I have another bad habit of thinking as soon as you take a breath that that's the end of the thought, and it's not always. I have to like give myself space in between. So I would say, babe, that sounds really frustrating. Pause for at least 3 to 5 long seconds. Long for me, probably normal for everybody else. Pause for a few seconds and then ask, okay, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about X, Y, and Z? Would you like some advice? And that went very well for the week. Okay, moving on. Obstacle number 2 to having active listening is pre-planning your response. Again, very guilty of this. So this is when you are mentally rehearsing what you're going to say while the person is talking. Like you're not actually fully present in the conversation because you're already thinking about what you're about to say next. Or you're already planning your response to whatever it is they're saying. And that may sound very efficient because I thought it was. However, this can cause a lot of confusion and a lot of communication errors because you're not fully present to what they're saying and you're not fully absorbing and receiving what it is that they're trying to tell you. Okay, so your communication is already blocked off when you're doing this or when you're engaged in this obstacle. And what can also happen is that you can focus on defending your position versus understanding and focusing on what he's saying, on what's being told to you. And then you can miss the details. So we don't want that. The problem is that it makes him feel like you care more about being right than you do about understanding him. And for men to actually open up and share about anything is a big deal. And I've had to learn this. I've had to learn because they're not as open and as chatty Cathy as we may be. That's for a reason. It's okay. But when they do share, that we have to be really like locked in and focused and intentional about how we communicate with them so that we can encourage more of it. Men are taught to hide their feelings. They're taught to keep it all in, to bottle it all up. But when you're in a partnership, when you're in a relationship, you want to have that dialogue. You want to have that free-flowing conversation because it's not on either of you to hold up everything all the time. But anyway, I digress. Keep it going. Check my notes. You don't want him to feel like, oh, she's just waiting for her turn to talk. Like it's always going to be about her. And you don't want to be the person that's responding to what you think he said and not what he's actually saying. Again, I'm guilty of this. And so this week I had to really, really work at this. You want to prevent your arguments from going in circles because neither person is feeling heard. And that's ultimately the outcome. Yes, he's going to feel like, okay, what's the point of talking? And I'm going to shut down and she's just always going to talk and tell me what to do and give me her response. And that's part of it, but you're also both going to wind up feeling like you're not being heard because you're going to continue to talk in circles. The core issue is not being met. The core problem is not being recognized because you're too busy thinking in your head about what you're going to say that you're missing the details, that you're missing the actual problem that he's putting in front of you. And therefore, you're not actually addressing what needs to be addressed. So you're talking, he's not really getting it because it's not matching up with what he wants. He's not feeling heard because it's not matching up with what he is trying to express, and on and on and on and on it goes. So we want to clear up that confusion. We want to prevent that from happening. This is how you overcome this obstacle. Let go of trying to be right. I know, difficult, hard, I know. For the few minutes that you are in conversation with your man, practice active listening and let go of the need to be right. Instead, focus on understanding, slowing down and listening so that you can understand, not listen to get an answer. And then ask clarifying questions like, what do you mean by that? Can you explain more? Can you tell me more? So that you can be sure that you are on the same page as him, okay? So that you are addressing whatever it is that he actually needs help with or he just wants to talk about. And then when you notice that your attention may be slipping or that your mind is starting to wander and you're starting to form a response in your head, bring it back. Stop right there. Bring it back. Bring your attention back to him and start to focus in on what he's saying, not what you're thinking. Again, hard. And as a bonus tip, you can actually set a 5-minute timer for each person to speak. Because realistically, again, I like to talk. I can go on for hours hearing my own voice. And when you're trying to get quick to the point, you don't always need to hear every single detail from A to Z. You just need to hit the cliff notes. And so what can help both parties and keep them from getting too tired and just kind of zoning out is to set a 5-minute timer. And 5 minutes is enough for each person to clearly state their point and then stop. When the timer goes off, the next person speaks. When the timer goes off again, then you have another chance to talk. Like we just take turns, and that way it kind of keeps a more even pace for the conversation. Okay, moving on. Finally, obstacle number 3 to active listening is emotional reactivity. You are making this about you. Yeah, I said it. You're making this about you. Again, guilty. This looks like you becoming defensive when you share something that sounds like criticism to you. You want to interrupt, you want to explain your side. Well, I just did this because that happened and this, da, 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 da. And it may not really be about you. He may be sharing an instance or an experience that has you in it, but it may not be a personal attack on you. And sometimes we get quick to jump to reaction and just in the moment feeling like we're being attacked and so we're going to get defensive, and that's not always the case. When you do this, you're taking his feelings personally, and they're not. They're his feelings, and then you shift them back to you, which creates an automatic barrier for active listening. You begin to react emotionally to what's being said. You start crying, you start cussing and fussing and doing all the things and getting upset. And then what does that do for him? Now he feels like he can't share his own emotions because he's too concerned about yours. And that's not healthy. He feels like he has to manage his reactions around you so that you can manage your own. And we're all grown here, okay? We have to take our personal emotions out of it sometimes. And as women, we are free flowing and full of it. I'm a Cancer, I get it, okay? However, if he can't express himself without feeling like you're going to get upset, you are never going to have the communication that you're looking for with your man, okay? He is going to keep to himself and stop sharing his feelings with you because he just wants to avoid the drama, to be honest, which is the opposite effect of what you're looking for. And you wind up pushing him away. Now, this is going to create resentment on both sides because now he feels like he can't share. You feel like you're in the wrong and you're being attacked. And so you're getting all up in your feelings. And then you never get to the root of the issue because we've gotten caught up in the drama and the emotion of it all. But we never actually got to the heart of the issue that he brought forth. So it becomes a really big distraction, okay? Here's how you overcome it. You have to learn to separate your listening from your defense. He is sharing his experience with you the same way that you do with him. And he has a right to express that. You want him to express that. And so you want to create an environment that's encouraging him to express his feelings, not push him away. Here's what I did. Here's what I learned to do. I had to count to 5 before responding. Kind of works hand in hand with the last tip. Count to 5, don't immediately respond. And remind yourself that it's his turn to share. That you're going to have your chance later. You're going to have your 5-minute timer too, okay? I promise you. But Let him speak first and let him get his thoughts out clearly before you start reacting. And this also gives you time to start thinking in your head about what it is you're really saying, or what it is you're really creating a story about. Like, is what you're mad about really worth it? And again, ask the clarifying questions. What do you mean by that? Can you explain further? Can you give me an example so that I know that I'm on the same page with you, that this isn't a personal attack, this isn't an argument, this is just you sharing with me. And then if you feel triggered anyway, make sure you regulate yourself. It is okay as an adult to take a time out. I am for it. I give my toddler timeouts and I give myself timeouts. Okay? Because I get triggered too. That is normal. That is okay. If you get triggered, you have to regulate yourself, because if you're coming at him because you are not regulated, this is not going to go well. It's going to go south very quickly, okay? So all you need to do is say, you know what? I need a moment to just process what you're saying so that I can hear you effectively. That'll be golden, okay? That'll be perfect for him. And I'm telling you, ladies, this really helped me this week, okay? This really, really helped me. Here's a personal example. So anytime that he mentions anything to me that even remotely sounds like I'm not doing enough as a mother or a partner, I instantly get defensive. I don't care what it is. I don't even care if I'm not good at the thing. I'm getting defensive, okay? He already knows. Like, look at my hands right now. I'm going to get defensive. And this is how I come off. Bad. Bad, yay. Bad. And so I've had to learn to separate the story in my head with what he's actually saying, so that I don't get defensive, so I don't take it personally, because it's not personal. He's not trying to hurt me. Like, I had to learn that I'm not fighting with him. Like, he's not trying to hurt me. Specifically, if he says something like, I want to have sex more and I'm having a hard time having that conversation with you, that is a toughie right there, okay? That was hard for me to say, to be honest, because I would interpret it as I'm not doing enough in the bedroom. I'm not putting out enough. I'm not doing enough creative things. Like, any and everything, I will make up this huge story in my head with that one sentence, just that one sentence alone. Even if that wasn't even true, when he's literally telling me that he just wants to do it more often, that he's having the problem. It's literally him. He's having the problem bringing that conversation to me. And I wonder why. Because I'm getting defensive, right? I honestly don't even let him get past that thought. And that's the problem. And so using these tools actually helped me this week not get so upset, not get so frustrated. We could actually move past the initial statements and get through to the actual root of the problem. And that's what we're looking for. That active listening helps. By the way, drop in the comments which active listening barrier you struggle with the most. Like, I want to know. Drop a 1, a 2, or a 3, depending on which barrier it is. For me, number 3, life-changing, okay? Once you recognize the pattern, you can't unsee it, and you can just, it's so much better when you overcome it. I promise you, your conversations will be so much easier, and you will listen so much easier. But moving on to my favorite segment is my best mom advice. My best mom advice. Identify which active listening barrier you struggle with the most. And then for the next 7 days, intentionally catch yourself whenever it comes up. Use the listening tools in this video, okay? This is your homework. Use the listening tools in this video to overcome them as they do come up. And then at the end of the week, revisit some of your most powerful conversations with your partner and ask them how they felt when you used some of your active listening tools. Like, how did your conversations, your listening, your communication improve when you decided to use these tools? When you decided to overcome your own patterns and really take a look at yourself and do the work. I know he's going to be proud of you. I just want to hear you say it. I just want to see it happen for you, okay? I know you're going to be proud of yourself. Now, listening in relationships directly prepares us for next week's value, which is partnerships and relationships. And this is all about working as a team and attacking the problem together instead of separately. So you're really going to want to stay tuned for next week's episode as well. It's episode 7. Can't wait. And of course, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a huge thumbs up. to let me know that you liked the video. And if you really liked this video and you found it helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my upcoming content. That is a free way for you to support the channel so that I can continue to make more content like this for more mamas like you. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.